Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I had a comment asking about the LILYBYRED collection under my YesStyle haul video. At least I'm pretty sure I did. I had someone being like, I kind of want to buy it from the Smash It collection, but I couldn't decide, so I'm going to do a video where I utilize these shadows today. I did use a little bit of MAC Fix Plus just to kind of make sure my face is well prepped for foundation, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with my foundation. Before that, I'm also going to apply some under eye kind of concealer, so today I'm just going to use the BAREMINERALS one. I should use it more often than I do. I'm going to use this KVD Good Apple liquid foundation. I want something a little bit more high coverage and smooth today, just because whenever I do really colorful eyeshadow looks, it's nice for them to not have to compete with like a super dewy base. Personally, this is one of my favored higher coverage matte foundations. I feel like it is it's weird because they marketed this as being more for oily skin and they marketed the balm version as being for dry skin, but I feel like it's kind of reversed, or the Good Apple liquid is just all around better than the balm version, because based on a lot of YouTube videos I watched where people were talking about this liquid foundation, it seemed like most people with varying different skin types got along with it really well, so I feel like this is just kind of straight up an upgrade over the balm version, although I think I still have the balm version somewhere. And then I'll just take a very little bit onto my forehead. Next, concealer. I'm just going to use my usual. My under eyes are a little bit on the dry side today because I just have not been really like keeping up with my skincare to the best of my abilities, so I'm just going to leave a lighter coverage today so you can still kind of see the darkness, but I'm just going to kind of leave that. I am interested in the Natasha Denona powder foundation, but I was going to get it during the 10x points weeks, and then of course that was not a good week, so I just completely forgot. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of the Urban Decay powder foundation instead. And then for eye primer, I'm going to try, I haven't used this in a while, this is the VDL eye primer. It's the Faber-Castell packaging. I got this mostly for the packaging, but the one I got is called Serenity, which is blue. I'm wondering if maybe this will help with, it is kind of old, so I do wonder sometimes if it's expired, but we'll see. I remember now why I did never really use it, because the blue didn't really ever show up. I'm going to use my ESPOIR Brow Balance, and I have it in the shade 2 Cool Gray. My current favorite brow pencil. I currently have 2 of this, so I have this one I'm using right now, and then I have one brand new. If I ever catch wind of it being discontinued, I'll just buy a whole bunch. I am going to quickly put on my contour before I go any further. I am still enjoying using, well, this is like my second time using the Roman Better Than Contour over here, which is very, very lovely so far. I just kind of mix all of the shades in the biggest pan together. The one I have is 02, which is much more cooler. I'm like tempted to get the warmer one now just so I have like a more bronzier tone of this, because I do actually really like the formula of this. It's quite nice. I feel like a lot of older Korean powder contours were really difficult to use because they literally had no pigment at all whatsoever. It was just like throwing chalk on your skin. But I feel like now the powders are so much more soft feeling these days, and so they are a little bit more powdery, but they also are just a lot more smooth and they blend and the pigment actually appears. So the quality definitely has gone up lately. I'm debating getting a warmer one because sometimes I'm like not in the mood for like something this cool. And then I just take the light one on the bottom, and that's what I use under my nose. Yeah, I feel like this one, depending on the foundation I have underneath, it may be even a little too cool, which is not something I say very often, so I'm considering considering getting a different shade of this. Okay, so on to the eyeshadow. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the look overall pretty light, and then I'm going to use black eyeliner for the definition. So I'm going to start off with the Little Bitty Moment Shadow 17. This one is too tiny. These are really small. Like, if you look at these on YesStyle, you'll see the price is very, very low. It is because they are quite tiny. So here's the one that just has the matte shadows. I do think Korean eyeshadows have come a long way, but definitely sometimes I still do run into, especially with brighter colors, I still run into situations where I'm like, yeah, this still not quite worth the money. But definitely I think they've improved a lot since before 2020. So I'm just using a Refer 32. It's a very, very dense brush. The denseness of the bristles and then the fact that it's kind of like, I believe this one is like either natural or a mix of natural and synthetic means it'll really grip and grab. Because this is so light that I don't really need it to be like a super blendy eyeshadow. I just need to be able to pack it on. It actually shows up really well and it doesn't really look all that dry or cracking on me. And I do intend on using a different brush later to blend the two shades together. And these two colors do blend quite well together. They don't really create a muddy tone because they're both so light and green. It's a very, very lime green. There's so much yellow in this that it kind of mixes with the red and the pink to create a very cute little orange tone shade. So as disparate as these shades look, they do actually go quite well together. These shades do feel a little bit powdery in the pan, but with shades this light, fallout's not really gonna like show up, so it's not really a problem either. I think the lime green is actually having an easier time showing up than the pink is, but that could also just be due to the undertones, because this pink is very, very light, and light pinks sometimes have a harder time being as visible on my specific skin tone. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go into the pink with a fluffy brush. And I don't want to put these shadows on directly onto my lower lash line because I really do need definition on my lower lash line. So I'm going to use like darker shadows to hug my lower lash line, and then I'll blend it out with these mattes later. Next I'm going to go ahead and go into this one, which is number 19. There are 17, 18, and 19 in varying shades ranging from matte, shimmery, and sparkly. I decided to skip 18 because I just felt like 17 and 19 more or less covers my bases. I didn't really feel like 18 and 19 were going to be different enough to warrant me spending, you know, my limited makeup budget on both. There are no plastic particles in this or anything. It is still completely eye safe. It just is supposedly even sparklier than 18, although I have no frame of comparison, so I'm very sorry about that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and continue applying these shadows. I left a gap, which is where I'm gonna stick the shadows here. I don't expect these to look super great on top of the matte eyeshadow, just because that part of the eyelid has been more mattified, but that's okay. And I am going to go ahead and bring this down into the inner corner. And this is kind of just, you know, Korean shimmers generally speaking are not going to be as intense. They're usually going to be more of like these sparkly toppers, which they're so pretty, and if they do have base pigment and if you can apply them more opaquely, they're going to be a little bit more toned down in shine like this. You're not really going to run into super smooth foiled metallics or anything like that. I'm going to flip the brush over and go into the pink side now. I think it would have been fun if I had like flipped them around, but I kind of wanted to bring in a separate single in the middle, so I decided to keep it the same. I wasn't necessarily expecting like perfection out of this, but I am kind of surprised that the pink is not performing as well as the green. But that's okay because I did have a plan B in mind. I was going to go ahead and go in with one of my Fruitlighters from CLIONADH, which I know they've expanded the range. I do really want to buy the expansions because they're so adorable, but that's for later. So I'm going to use Tropico right here. This should work. I was going to use this initially. I was thinking I was going to use it like between the two shades. So we'll see if that works or not. CLIONADH has them, the skew in CLIONADH is that they're highlighters. I think you can probably guess as to why I wouldn't use these as highlighters, but you can theoretically use them as highlighters. I'm sure they're very pretty that way. I prefer to use these as eyeshadows. Yeah, that works way better. And the Fruitlighters are really pretty. I didn't use very much, but I think you can see already the effect that that had. Okay, so as you can probably tell, this is like very light, very bare bones. So I'm going to go ahead and start building up the lower lash line. So for that, I'm going to use Nippon Noir, which is from Shiseido's Kajal InkArtist line. So I'm going to use black liner and I'm going to use this black eyeshadow. So I'm first going to go ahead and take this right here across my lower lash line. So right now, I'm kind of giving off Pirates of the Caribbean vibes. It'll also get cleaned up later, and it'll look a lot better once the eyeliner is also on the upper lash line too. So now I'm going to be doing eyeliner on my upper eyelid, and for that I'm going to be using my Melt eyeliner in Onyx, which is right here. Hopefully this goes alright, we'll see what happens. Something like that, right? It's a little bit asymmetrical, but my eyes also are two different sizes, so it doesn't necessarily not work. I do think I want to bring up the right eye just a little bit though to be more in line. You can definitely see it how I do have to draw it pretty thick for it to show up, but that's just kind of how life goes when you have monolid eyes. And then I do just want to make sure it is really black on the ends. And then lastly, I am going to take this same gel liner and just kind of stamp it right on top of my eyelashes. So it's almost in my waterline, but like not quite. So I'm going to take my Perversion waterproof brush tip liner from Urban Decay. I'm just gonna, I think the wings need to be longer. I kind of screwed up the sharpness a little bit, but that's okay. That might have been a mistake. I think I do need to replace this eyeliner because it's also leaking. Okay, so I'm going to continue on now. So moving back into the lower lash line, I'm going to go back into these mattes and really just make sure that they're visible. I feel like a little bit of extra sparkle never hurt anybody, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull for that. I have been so bad, I've not featured any of these new singles I've gotten lately. Don't judge me. So I think today I'm going to go ahead and use Earthborn. This is from the, this is the shade, it's spelled N-A-C-R-E. It's from the Seeking Shifts Earthborn collection. So I'm just going to take it on a fluffier brush because I'm just going to disperse it like individual sparkles. It was my first Shine by Esty order that I ever made because I just found the shadows made by Seeking Shifts to be so intriguing. I don't know if this collection is available anymore past this point, but I'm going to just take this and dot it all across the eye look. And I am going to go ahead and brighten up the inner corner with this. With a very tiny brush, I'm going to take this and then I'm going to put it in the center of the green. Okay, so I'll be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of this look. I feel like I wasn't able to quite get the eyeliner to look perfect the way I wanted it to, and something about it didn't quite come together the way that I was hoping, so I can't really say I'm the biggest fan of how this turned out, but at the same time, the products themselves were all fine, and you know, we had a good thing going, so I'm just gonna call this look complete in terms of eyes. I am going to quickly now move on to the rest of the face. So for blush, I don't actually really know what would go with this. I think maybe I'll just kind of try and match the pink tones. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use this from Too Faced. This should work, right? Yeah, no, that's too blue. I think I'll use this from Clinique. This is the shade Berry Pop. I haven't really put down any sort of powder on my face yet, so it's just gonna stick down nice and pigmented. It's been a while since I've used a cheek pop from Clinique. Definitely a very nostalgic product for me. I have at this point almost every single shade from them. I definitely have all the shades I was interested in, plus I even have some of the Asia exclusive shades as well. Those were a little bit of a pain to track down. Really focusing the majority of the pigment underneath my eyeshadow, meeting up, like connecting to the pink of the eyeshadow. And then to blend all of that out, I'm going to use a second blush. I'm going to use this shade Picnic Pink from Peripera. It's pretty much a dead-on match for the pink shade in LILYBYRED. These Peripera blush formulas are also very, very mattifying and very, very smoothing, so if I put this down, I don't need to use setting powder on top. And if you have oilier skin, you'll probably really like these because they'll hold up really, really well. They are not very pigmented, so you can see I do prefer to use these to blend out other shades. There are slightly more intense ones, especially the original 5 shades they released. Some of those are a little bit deeper. The moment Korean brands really start trying to push for a global audience, I fully expect to see more inclusive shades and shade expansions. And if I don't see that while they're trying to push globally, I kind of start giving them the side eye. So Peripera does have a global presence, but it's pretty much 99.5% focused on their lip products, of which they do have a very wide variety of tones at this point. Okay, that is the blush on, and I think it really definitely helps with matching the eyeshadow. I still am not the biggest fan of, I thought the black eyeliner would help with this look. Like, I thought that the pastels plus black liner would work, but I think I went way too heavy on the black liner. I don't know, I'm not really feeling how this look pulled together, but it was still really, it's been fun so far, like, you know, just makeup therapy, it's nice. So next for highlighter, I'm going to show off this highlighter from LILYBYRED, which is in the shade 05. It's called the Love Beam Glow Veil. And initially, I have always been a little bit wary of Korean highlighters because back in the day, they pretty much were just straight up chalk. They had like no shine, and the pigmentation that they had was basically white and ashy, and it just looked overall terrible. Like, I barely could even qualify it as a highlighter so much as just like white powder. But lately, Korean highlighters have really been popping off, like glowier, shinier highlighters that give off the glossy glass skin effect are now becoming super trendy. And with the release of, with brands like Clio and ESPOIR and DECAY releasing highlighters that are marketed as being much more glimmery, and with other brands like Romand releasing highlighters that are marketed as being these super sparkly, like almost give you like a dewdrop skin effect, like a glistening skin effect, now that that's really popular now, Korean highlighters have suddenly just leaps and bounds improved, and I am ready to just like try all of them if I can. We'll see how June goes. I don't know. Which me saying that has just lost all meaning at this point because I've been behind for like years, but I'm even more behind now because May was just such a crappy month. So, but yeah, and as you can see, like, look at these eye bags, man. Like, I was not able to cover them up very well, so they are in full force today. Okay, before I do the lips and finish off this makeup look, I do need to put on my mascara like I said I would. I didn't really want to do false lashes today, but now with my eyeliner being so thick, I wonder if I need to. But I still don't really want to, I just don't really feel like it. Okay, so I'm going to curl my lashes. I'm going to first start with curling my bottom lashes. Can never get my left eye to be as curly as my right eye. I definitely need to work on improving that. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a volumizing mascara now, see if I can get my lashes to look a little bit fuller. I wish I had longer lashes. It really would make life a lot easier, I think. Oh my god, seriously? I'll just let that dry and I'll just try and remove it later, but okay, so I'm going to continue to let this mascara smudge dry because, wow, of course I would do this, and I'm going to go ahead and now call this the lashes done. This lip definitely would have benefited from false lashes, but I really did think that mascara would have been enough. Next, I'm going to do my lip liner. I'm going to use the Romand one. Not really a surprising option, but definitely fits this instance because I'm going to be using a pinkier lip. Okay, and then the lip product I wanted to feature today, this is not from the Smash It collection. I did not buy any of the lip products from there because they were a little bit, I think, just too like same for me. But this is from their Bubblegum collection and it is the shade 13. And I've never tried LILYBYRED lip products up until recently, but now I definitely really want to try more because I do quite like these. These are really nice. These are the kinds of dewy tints that stain, so if you like having products leave behind a light pink stain, then you'll definitely like these. So I am going to go ahead and try and apply more to the center of my lips and then less on the outer portion. Yeah, like that. And I do really like the Dofa applicator. It's very plush and it's nice and pointy at the end, so it makes controlled application pretty easy. This is why you wait for the mascara to dry before you try and take it off. Okay, so this is going to be my finished look. I do need to trim my bangs. They are getting a little bit poofy, but in the meantime, I do like my new bang roller. I like that it kind of gives them a little bit more body. It's nice. But yeah, they are getting kind of long. Here's how everything is turning out. So again, not really my favorite look. I don't think the elements I'd selected all matched in the end eyes-wise, but I still think, you know, you got to see a nice good product demo of how everything turned out. And I haven't done like really bold wing liner in a pretty long time, so I like how I look in really dark bold wing liner. So I'll quickly recap what I used and what I thought about it. So to start off with the LILYBYRED shadow duos, I definitely think the matte one is going to be more worth your money, but the pink actually surprised me. The pinks were worse than the greens. So if you are the kind of person where you mostly have neutrals and you don't do color, but you're looking to add a couple of shadows here and there just so you have color in case you need it, like you don't need a huge pan, you don't need a huge rainbow palette, you just want a couple of random brights just on the days you're feeling like it, I think these LILYBYRED shadows are a really great source of that because they still maintain a nice softness that is characteristic of Korean shadows, but the lime green is actually really nice. I've been really impressed. The pink, not so much, but you probably already have a good pink shadow. I really like this highlighter. It is more of a yellow toned green, so it's not going to be like a true green highlighter. I'm still kind of on the hunt for a true green highlighter. I've heard that the discontinued Kaleido's Laser Glazer was kind of that, but that's gone now. There was one from Notoriously Morbid I kind of had my eyes on. I don't know. I have a couple options, but I definitely am still kind of looking for like a good green one. But this kind of reminds me more of Becca Golden Mint. And I think, and if you wanted Becca Golden Mint and you can't get it anymore because it's gone, I think this is actually a pretty comparable, similar and cheaper option. So these LILYBYRED tints, I've already used these multiple times. I really like them. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of them staining, but that's purely personal preference because, you know, I want to be able to, like, when my lips are dark into the next day, I feel like it kind of throws off the colors of other lip products I want to wear the next day. So I don't like things staining because I'm constantly changing up my lip color and I don't want the stain to carry over into the next ones. But if you're the kind of person where you prefer the longevity of products and you really like it when it leaves a light stain behind so that you don't necessarily have to reapply, then you'll really like these. They're very comfortable, they're very hydrating, they kind of do set and form a really nice pretty film. These are a lot thinner though, you know, the shine isn't like super intense, super dewy, glassy, it's just shiny. But these are still really nice. Again, the LILYBYRED is a very inexpensive brand, so these lip products are also very inexpensive. So if you've been looking for options like these, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Also, if you're into cool tone lip products and you are starved for options, These, both from the bubblegum collection, are excellent cool tone options. This one especially runs a lot more mauve than you would expect of a Korean lip product, so if you've been looking for cooler toned dewy Korean tints and you don't mind the staining, I actually think you're gonna really love these colors. That's the reason I picked these two up, because I felt like they were a little bit more unique, and they really are. And yeah, I think that's really it. I think that's really all that I used in terms of stuff that's new. Everything else I already like. And I think with that, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off and end this video here. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Sorry the look didn't quite turn out how I anticipated, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.